You had me at hello, 'cause where you go is where I go. I don't need nobody else. I got you, and you got me too.
You can ride all the blue. I wanna do what you want to. We can leave and run away someday, someday. I've been saving you, and you save me too. Yeah, I need it, don't you need me too? 'Cause I need you. Yeah, so call me anytime that you need a favor. Call me anytime I can come and save you. Oh, oh. Call me anytime that you need a friend. And call me anytime when you're at a tight end. I got you, and you got me too. We can always make it through. What we do is what we do. I can take you anywhere, somewhere. We won't be scared. You will see me flying high. I'm staring into your blue eyes. We don't need nobody else. I got you, and you got me too. I've been saving you, and you save me too. Yeah, I need it, don't you need me too? 'Cause I need you. Yeah, so call me anytime that you need a favor. Call me anytime I can come and save you. Oh, oh. Call me anytime that you need a friend. And call me anytime when you're at a tight end. I got you.
You got me, got me. You got me, got me. You got me too. Got me, got me.
I've been saving you, and you save me too. Yeah, I need it, don't you need it too? 'Cause I got you.
And you got me too.
Well, I think that we're live. Now, hopefully, everything is going to be okay because I've got the new sound thing here and I'm not just... so I don't know if everything's going to be all right, but we're going to find out. So let me know in the chat too whether the audio is okay. I put it up late this morning because I was still trying to organise everything. So, but it looks like it's going to be okay. So let me know if the audio is in sync and everything else. Because like I said, I haven't even done a test with this. It's just set up this morning. And hopefully it should all be okay. So let's see who's in the chat. Let me just bring up that this is in pre-show so that people know. Is that going to come on? Aha. Let me have a look. Has that come off? Output. Macros. Now let me try. Aha. It's working. All right. So, yeah, we're just in pre-show at the moment. I'm just basically going to see who's in the chat. So let's see who's here. I said I was going to be 15 minutes, but I was late. Sorry, guys. Hate that. But, oh, well, I was just trying to get things organised. So Rob said, when is it starting? It's been stuck on 45 for ages. I know. I just laughed out loud because what more can I say? Nevak said, good morning. I should put this over here, actually, so it looks like I'm looking at the camera, basically. Ben Barry said, good morning. David said, hello, David. Greeting from Boston. G'day, David. How are you? Chris said, hello, David. Just got the notice. Nice day in Los Angeles and a good Miller Lite day. I didn't even have the time to put the notice in the photography videography school. So, yeah, I was running that late this morning. AV's okay. Well, that's good. And because it's the new Podcaster Pro 2. So I got it yesterday. So it's on now. So hopefully everything is all right. I need to put this on, actually, so I don't get any notifications. Let me just switch focus on. That should be on everything, I think. Yeah. Let's keep checking down here. AV's okay, Ron Ion said, so that's good. Heath said, greetings, David and friends. Chris said, audio, sounds, and looks good. Heath says, 4K okay. Yeah, now I'm not sure how long I'm going to be able to do 4K. I'm trying next week, well, here in Australia, the Aussies will know, I'm going to try doing, changing over to 5G. And the reason why I'm doing that is because it's so much cheaper. At the moment here, the plan that I'm on is $350 a month or something, and that gives me, I think it's 200 down and 500 up. But they've just sort of announced these 5G plans that have come out, and it's $89 a month. So I'm going to give it a go, but I'm not sure how the speed is going to be for the first few tests. So I'm going to try it. You get it free for a month. So I'm going to try it. I won't cancel the plan I'm on, but I'll try it for a month and just see how it goes. So it might be that I have to go back to 1080 or 1440 or something. I'll have to do some tests. But anyway, stay tuned. So I'll let you know what happens. So it basically streams from a 5G network like what your phone is. So that's what I might try because it's just such a massive saving. J-Bar said, man, I sure wish Sony would come out with an update for the A6600. I know, it's still, who knows. I bought this camera when it came out because it was the best APS-C on the market and was like, heck yeah, it'll get good updates. You know, I know we've been well, I'm going to talk about that in the first story today. It's basically all we'll be talking about. There's a couple of quick news rumors, but, you know, I just wanted to talk about that. Greetings from Romania. G'day, Ion. Is it Ion it's pronounced? James said, morning, David, from Shauna. Is it Shauna? And let's discuss the good and disappointing from the new updates. Oh, I'll be discussing it. Don't you worry about that. Rocco also said, greetings from Southwest Florida as well. So how are you, Rocco? Let me just quit the chat too because I'm in the email. I don't need that open. Come on, quit. All right, so it's going to be interesting today to talk about the update, the firmware update. Now, if you look or follow me, you'll know that I did a video not long ago. I think it was on a live, actually, where I discussed how disappointing I was with the updates, the firmware updates that Sony had been sort of given us for the well, basically the A9. Well, most of the cameras really. Look, the A7 III got some fairly good updates. The A9 got a couple of pretty good updates because the tracking stuff that they put in there was good. But really, Sony have been lacking in giving us decent upgrades. And in fact, they force you basically to buy a new camera to get the things that you really want. And so I'm going to have a bit of a rant today. Oh, you ready? So this is why I'm not a... this is why Sony won't use me as a ambassador, because basically if I'm not happy with them, I'm going to tell them that I'm not happy with them, and, you know, this is why I'm not supported, I suppose. But, well, I'm always going to be honest with you guys, and I told you that. So, yeah, so let's have a look at it. So I'm going to switch over to... let me just go back here. And I'm going to go on to this. Now, let me just change something here, because I might try a different output today. Macros, iPhone, and that one. No, I'll go back to the other one. Yeah, I'll go back to that one. All right, so let me just switch to this. All right. And let me just get rid of that pre-show thing so it doesn't come down on the next thing there. All right, so let's have a look at this. And I'll come back to the chat later on, guys, because, you know, I'd like to answer a few of these questions too. Like I said, it's probably going to be a quick one today. I'll be able to have an early coffee. I wanted to go first, though, to... Where was it? Here. All right, so Sony announced new firmwares. Now, I got the update and I was, woohoo, you beauty, here we go, and it's great. You know, I'm going to get some decent updates for my A7S III. Let's look at the A1 first. So it's an update 1.30, and it's released, and it's added 422 10-bit selection when shooting in XAVC HS 8K and lossless RAW. Now, this is something I've been asking for a long, long time, having this ability to, say, use lower res RAWs. Like, I think there's 3 versions of it. I'm not quite sure. It might say a little bit further down, but I haven't got the A1. But obviously you'll lose megapixels, but sometimes having, you know, shooting 60 megapixels, 50 megapixels, if you're doing a wedding or whatever, you don't need resolution that high. So it's great now to finally have the option of lowering the megapixels down, the resolution on those RAW files. So I think that's a great thing, and that's something I've been asking Sony to do for ages and ages. So congratulations on that. And the 8K lossless, yes, is also a reasonable update. Let me just sort of see down here what they're saying about this, that it's the 1.3 firmware update for the flagship Alpha A1 full-frame mirrorless camera, and you get this 8K 422 10-bit recording lossless compressed RAW for still images. Using newly added 8K 422 10-bit capabilities, it says you can more precisely customize the vibrancy and color of the recordings. Now, I'm not sure if this is internal or just external, though. 422-bit 10 recording film lets filmmakers and content creators realize their vision and, whatever. The update also adds lossless compressed RAW files, and this is the good thing. So this actually is a really good thing. So it has got small, medium, and large. Okay, so there it is. So it's small, medium, and large. Selecting L size preserves the same image quality as the uncompressed RAW format, while significantly reducing the file size. And the M and S sizes record fewer pixels than the L size. And that's probably fine. You probably won't notice the difference in using those if you say shooting a wedding, things like that. So, you know, if I was going to do a wedding, I mean, I would be shooting in the lower resolutions. Like I said, I'm happy with 12 megapixels, but anyway, at least it gives you that option now that you could say change quickly if you wanted to. You knew that you wanted this high impact image that you could say then shoot at high resolution, and that's what I did when I used to have my A7R. I just used to use that when I was going to know that I'd be making massive prints, or if I wanted to enlarge it in post, for instance. If you don't need to do that, you could just be shooting with these lower ones, like the small and the medium. I'm just trying to see else what... Okay, so let's look at the big improvements. Allows you to select that M and S sizes in addition to the L when shooting recording lossless compression methods. It's 422 10-bit selection when shooting in this XAVC HS8K. Allows proxy recording during a remote connection, computer connection. Improves the accuracy of the IAF feature. I don't know whether anyone who has an A1 can say whether this has improved it. But look, I also did my A7S III and I haven't really noticed any difference. I think the autofocus is so good now that you just don't really notice that much of a difference anymore. Improves... it also fixes an issue where the remote shooting may not work with the Image Edge desktop remote. Improves the stability of custom white balance and improves the operational stability of the camera. Now, who knows what that is? They never tell you, but it's obviously just bug fixes and things like that. So that's what we've got there. Now, the A7S also got an update. It went up to 2.1. And it says the firmware update for Sony's acclaimed Alpha A7S III full-frame mirrorless interchange camera lens is also available for immediate download. This latest update includes an introduction of proxy recording during remote computer connection for improvements, and improvements to IAF autofocus performance. And that is it. Hang on. Hang on. And I've got to do one more. I've got to do... Now, so that's going to give you what I think about these updates. Yes, look, they've given something, but let's talk about it, all right? Now, the A7 IV has two major things that the A9 and, the A1 and the A7S III should have got. It should have got the focus breathing fix. Why, Sony, have you not given us the focus breathing fix? I mean, seriously, are they expecting someone that's paid, if you're US, $6,000, if you're in Australia, $9,000, are they seriously going to expect us to pay another $6,000 to $9,000 to get focus breathing if you've got a Sony A1? It is ridiculous. They also haven't given it to us in the Sony A7S III. Now, the Sony A7S III is meant to be their ultimate video camera, and yet it has features in the A7 IV that's outperforming the A7S III. You can't tell me there's no way known that those cameras could not handle the focus breathing that they've given in the A7 IV. It is ridiculous. And Sony, I'm calling you out on this. It is absolutely ridiculous. When you look at the updates like what Canon have been given, when you look at the updates like what Nikon have been given, it is ludicrous. We didn't even get that new focus method where it's the different pixelation colors. I can't remember what it's called, but I know that was in the A7 IV as well, where you had that focusing where you'd see what was in focus would come clear and the rest of it was out of in different colors or whatever. We didn't even get that. I mean, it's ridiculous. And look, I know look, this is the real me. And look, I am a very easygoing guy, but I also get very pissed off if I think we're being ripped off. And I think we're actually being ripped off. And whether they're going to come up and do this in another year's time, I mean, who knows? There was 5 upgrades with, well, I can't remember, but we ended up with quite a number of upgrades with the Sony A9. But there's no excuse. We should have been given those features now. And I particularly feel for the A1 users because that is just ridiculous when you're paying that sort of money and you haven't got those sort of features in that camera. And look, even the A7S III should have had that focus breathing fix and that other focusing method that they had in there as well. I mean, it's just nuts. And Sony, you have to get it out of this or you're going to start to lose customers because the thing is, yes, Sony had everything on their own at the beginning with this. And this is very, very true. They did. They were sort of way ahead with everyone else. The focusing was better. The cameras are nicer. I think that they still are. I mean, I love the body and style and everything of that. And someone's just said they're still waiting on the S-Log firmware update for the original A9. Exactly. We never even got that. It is ridiculous. Now, Sony, obviously what Sony wants you to do is to get these major features, you have to jump to a new camera. And I can understand that from their marketing perspective, that they just want to make more money. But if they added, say, focus breathing, I believe that only works with the Sony lenses. So surely if that was the case, that would be it would make more people buy Sony lenses instead of buying other lenses from other manufacturers. So that's a massive plus there as well. And not releasing it at this time, after we've waited so long between firmware updates, is inexcusable, Sony. And I think really it's disgraceful. And I think in the end of the day, if you keep going down this line, if you're forcing people to move to a brand new camera when you're dealing with, say, the A1, which is $6,000, and you're forcing them to upgrade to get something like focus breathing, if that's what you end up doing, and I hope that's not what you end up doing, if that's what you end up doing to your customers, and I can't wait to see, because I'm going to get some Sony fanboys in here saying that I'm talking rubbish, and good on you, that's the way you feel. But I'm going to tell you the way that I feel, and I'm disgusted. I'm absolutely disgusted that they're not looking after their customers in the way that they should look after their customers. If you look at Telsa, now, a lot of you may hate Elon Musk, for instance. You may really hate Elon Musk. But he's adding features into those cars all the time. And basically what's happening is it's almost like you're driving a new car with how these firmware updates are being put through to the car. So he's not expecting you each time to go and buy, another Telsa to get features that are put in. They do it through firmware. Sony should be looking after their customers. I mean, I'm sure that if they put enough features into a new camera, people will still upgrade. But there's no excuse for leaving out that focus breathing off those two cameras and also that focusing mechanism as well. It's disgusting. And like Reginald said there, that they never gave us the picture profile on the A9, which was sort of promised. There was, if you go back and research that, I think it was one of the Sony high reps actually said that, yeah, they were looking into doing it. And you can't tell me they couldn't have had log put on the Sony A9. They just didn't want to do that because it would have affected sales. So I think it's a little bit flawed. If the other manufacturers start to put out big sort of firmware updates like the Nikon did with their Z9, if companies keep starting to do that, then I can tell you that people will start to move over. Sony, you can't take people for granted, particularly in the marketplace like what we're in now. Giving us that update, really, apart from I'm happy that they've now added the ability to give it, the low resolution RAWs and stuff. The rest of it was just, what can I say? You guys are all going to be shocked because I'm so pissed off. Oh, I just couldn't believe it. I was really a bit shocked, to be completely honest, because I just thought it was a joke. Anyway, that's what I wanted to say to everyone. You can leave it in the comments below. Leave it in here too. You can sort of say, what you think as well in this too. But I'm really disappointed. I'm really disappointed in Sony, to be honest. Anyway, that's the ranty one. I'm just going to keep going and we'll come back to the chat because, like I said, it's not going to go for very long. But please leave in the comments. Put down what you think about this. Do you think I'm right? And look, if you think I'm wrong, fair enough. Good on you. Everyone's allowed an opinion. But I just think it's dead wrong. Let's go over to the next one. So this is interesting too. They're saying that Sony is going to resume the A7C and the ZV-E10 orders. So last week, I believe I think it was last week or the week before, they started to say they were going to start producing the A6400 again. So it looks like they're starting to ramp up again. I did just see a thing in Sony Alpha Rumours this morning that they were saying that they believe the chip shortage is going to continue until 2024. So I think we're going to be in for a long time of sort of, not being able to get a lot of new gear. And this is another reason why they should be updating the firmware, because they couldn't put out a camera at the moment anyway, probably because of what's going on with, all of the chip shortage anyway. All right, so so they are going to start doing the A7C and the ZV-E10 again. Like, that's been very, very hard to get, the ZV-E10. And a couple of wild rumours. They're saying here that it looks like that we're going to have to wait to the Mark 6 of the A7R to give a 100 megapixel-ish camera. So I'm not sure what they're saying there. I think what they're probably saying is that the A7R5 will be less than that. It's probably going to be around that 60 megapixel or so, somewhere around that size. So, that's an interesting one. So it looks like we're going to have to wait for the next generation to get something 100 megapixel-ish in that camera as well. I don't think it's needed, but, I think 50, 60 megapixels is ample. But, I suppose if you're, if you're shooting fashion, if you're shooting high-end retouching on skin and things like that, jewellery, yes, there is definitely advantage. Or if you, I suppose, also shooting wildlife, it's great to have that ability to blow up the image. So it says there look like there's some issues going on, and it's probably all just to do with the chip shortage, I would think. That's probably what, is going on here. Source 2 said there's going to be a new FX1. So this was interesting. It's going to be a low end underneath the FX3. 24 megapixels. It's going to have 4K 30 and 4K 60 recording. Hypersample 1080p recording. Full-size HDMI. Color, science, and functions compatible with the FX3. price below $2,999 United States dollars. Mechanical shutter and photo taking function. So this is interesting. I mean, I hadn't sort of thought that would be the case, but who knows? I mean, I didn't sort of pick that at all. So that's an interesting one. Source 3 also said there is no Sigma 70-200 on the roadmap. So it looks like they're not going to do a 70-200, the Sigma anyway. But they are looking at doing an 85-135 f2. So that could be pretty cool. It's going to be a pretty big honking lens though, but that's interesting. Anyway, they're saying it's extremely sharp, designed like the current DG-DN lenses, designed for outdoors, minimum focus distance is 1.5 meters, and it's the first 85-135 f2 on the market. It's an 82 millimeter thread, and the weight is 1,633.59 grams. And it's got the additional tripod collar like the 100-400. There is a teleconverter too. Oh, cool. Okay. Source number 4 said the Sony 200 f2 GM. That would be incredible. And a 200 2.8G. Won't be produced, they're saying now. So that there's a couple of things that aren't going to be produced. The Sigma ones looks interesting. I mean, the 85-135 f2 looks really pretty cool. I wouldn't get rid of my 2 lenses that I've got there, but if you wanted one lens all in one, well, it's a nice focal length if you wanted a really good sort of portrait lens. So, you know, that's interesting. And the last story before I open up to Q&A is they have released a new one of these microphones. I've got the previous one. I don't use it that much, but I've got it. So that's now going to be available soon. It's just got a new model number. It's an ECM-B10. It is a really good unit. That's one of the really good advantages about having the electronic system on the top of the hot shoe. So it does give a really good sound. I mean, I'm happy with the other one that I've got. So this is going to be interesting if it's a much better improvement compared to the one that I've got. But it is great just to be able to clip it in. You don't need batteries or anything else, and it does work very, very well. I'm very happy with mine. But like I said, I just don't use it that often. But anyway, I've got it. But it looks almost the same if you look at it. It looks very, very similar to what I've got, the same as the windsock and everything. So anyway, that's something that's there. They're just saying crystal clear recording, etc. I'm sure they've probably just made it a bit clearer and everything else. It might have better pickups than the previous one. But like I said, I've been very happy with mine that I've got. Let me just switch back to me, because we'll open up Q&A. Let me just do this rundown. I'll do this because I can put it later on in the list. So what we'll do is we'll open up some Q&A and just see. I'm very curious to see what you guys think about the firmware updates as well. Like I said, it's not going to be a long show today, but I thought, well, yes, I'll still come on to have a sort of discussion about it with you guys, and also, we can have a Q&A together as well. So let's keep going down. So I'm not sure where I was up to. Barry just said good morning. David said, hello, David. Greetings from Boston. G'day, David. Chris said, good day for a Miller Lite. Yeah, it's winter here, so I'm off the alcohol now. I'm drinking water, actually. I've got one half finished there. I should finish this one first. I'll certainly be back on the drink with you guys once it warms up a bit. What's the temperature going to be? Oh, I haven't got my watch on. I think it's 15 today, Celsius. Not too bad. Ian said AV okay. Heath said greetings, friends. Chris said audio sounds and looks great. That's great. 4K2. I did read these. I'm not going to go back to all of these. I remember reading them now. Ian said, yep, waiting for an update of the A7 IV. Hello from Austin, Texas. It's Ian, similar to John. Oh, okay. J-Bar said, heck, let's hear them rants. I'm pissed at them. Greg Thomas said, the new couch looks like a comfy place. Oh, it is, Greg. I've had a few naps on there. I actually, it's not new. It's always been there. It's just that I've always had this dark, and so you don't normally see it. So but it is an unbelievably comfortable couch. Also, the one in the studio is fantastic as well. Good to see you here anyway, Greg. Ian said, I have my own rants for Sony. They are pulling a Canon. Mark said, is anyone having freezing up issues on the A7 IV? Interesting. Any update for this? No, I haven't heard of that, but whether someone in the chat knows anything about that or even later on, Mark. Greetings from Wisconsin. I have the A1 and I did update my camera and so far things are amazing and my bird eye tracking has improved much more. Well, that's great. I'm using lossless compression L. And like I said, that is a great feature. I'm not saying that they didn't give anything. They did, and that's a great feature, but they should have added more. James said, where is the focus? That's what it's called. Yeah, thanks, James. It's focus map feature. Exactly. Colin said, good night, David. A long time. Good to see you here, Colin. I'm still waiting for picture profiles and S-Log in the A9. That's what Reginald said, I know. And look, honestly, that drives me nuts because the issue is there that if you have the A9, then you can't shoot in log in the other cameras because it's never going to match. So it is a real problem, and they should have added log in that camera. There's also, I don't think there's any excuse for that either. What is an upgrade to an A1? Well, it'll be an A2. I'm sure they'll think of something. Ken said, would you buy Sony a7S III now or wait for the next updated one? No, if I needed one, Ken, I'd buy it straight away. I love that camera. I really do love it. And I think it's still going to be a while before we get another one. So, yes, if you need it now, I would definitely get one without, in a heartbeat. If I needed another one, I'd get one right now. I love it. Juicy said, there is so much going on out there with the shortages such as medical description. I've ordered a Cupo grip arm for the first week of April. Oh, okay. Paid full and still waiting. Yeah, I know it takes so long, Juicy, to get things. It really does. Ted said, hi, David. I've pre-ordered the new Sony ECB B10 digital mic, sight unseen. Really hoping you will do a review before it ships in August. Please release. So please go easy on your rant today. No, they won't send me one, particularly after today. I've got no hope. Greg said rather underwhelming by update. Yeah, it was. It wasn't a good update really at all. The A1 update is significant. Well, Heath, that's where I just disagree. I mean, I think for the price of that camera, they should have added those other two features in. But like I said, everyone's got their opinion, Heath, and I fully respect your opinion, mate. When will the A7S III get anti-flicker? That's another thing, see, that we haven't got either. The A1 has that, but the A7S III does. And I think the FX3 has it as well, doesn't it? If anyone has the FX3, they'll be able to tell me. But I think the FX3 has the anti-flicker video shooting mode. I updated my A7S III. Drink the margarita, still waiting to see a change. I love it. Benjamin said, the Sigma 85 1.3 sounds intriguing. It does, doesn't it? I mean, I think it sounds intriguing as well. I think it might be a really, really good lens. The Tamron version of that, well, it was the 35 to 135. I can't remember the exact amount. Was amazing as well. But this one sounds great if you're doing portraits. It will be a really good focal length for portraits. Say, for instance, if you wanted to keep that on your camera for weddings, because I often use the 85 and the 135, that would be terrific. Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. Jerry said, I guess no updates for the A7 III now, too old now. Probably, Jerry. I mean, you never know, but I wouldn't hold your breath about them updating that now at all. Oh my God, Sigma 85 to 135. I know, how cool does it sound? I wish, it's very, very hard to get those lenses here. The Sigma lenses and things like that. Like I said, Tamron always send me stuff, but Sigma and stuff like that, I just don't really get them, which is a shame. What could Sony possibly add other than missing features discussed if they wanted to release a version 2? Quite a lot. They could probably update the sensor particularly. It will always get faster. They could probably add more frames. They could probably add a little bit more megapixels in there as well. There'll be certain things that they can do, that's for sure. The buffer could end up being made larger. So there's always things that they'll make, better than what they already have. It could potentially go more down the line of a global shutter. I mean, who knows, James? But, you know, the sensors are always going to get better and better. You might get better dynamic range, for instance. It could have better stabilization built in. There's always things that can be added in these cameras to make them better. If there wasn't, there's never such a thing as a perfect camera, because there'll always be something that they can update. The A1 particularly could have a better rear screen. Now, let's face it, the rear screen that they've got on the A1 is pathetic. It's awful, and that should have had the new version of screens that they've put on the A version of the A7 III and the A7R III, I think it is. I don't know if you have used it yet, but yeah, the Tamron 35-150, yes, I did a review on it, J-Bar. It is incredible. It's one of the best lenses I've ever used. That lens is outstanding. I loved it. If you go back into my channel, you'll actually see where I did the review. It is terrific. I did the review of that before it was released. 1.8, count me in. Hero said, I just got the old Tamron 35-150 2.8. Can't wait to get the F2 2.81. Laugh out loud. Can anyone tell me the timestamp for Sony firmware section of this live stream? What do you mean by the timestamp? The things that have been added or not? Probably not in the live stream, but you could probably, someone might be able to answer in the questions later on. Or if you go back and look at the Sony website, you should be able to check previous firmware updates. Traded in my A7C for the A7 IV. Love it. Yeah, it's a big upgrade, and the A7 IV is a terrific camera. It really is, and it certainly is a big upgrade from the A7C. The A7C is very, very similar, really, to the A7 III, and that's the way you have to look at that camera. It's just a different design, but you know, I think the A7 IV is a massive step up to what you'd see with the A7C. I'm starting to lose hope that the A7R IV would ever get a firmware update. For one, the menu system and maybe different resolutions. I also think that the camera can do 4K 50p in crop mode. Probably. This, like I said, this seems to be where, you know, they just don't want to give us too much. When I had the Panasonic, the updates they used to give for Panasonic are incredible. The updates that you get for Fuji are also incredible. Like I said, the new Z9 updates that have been added really made it almost like a new camera. And the Canon also have been given some pretty amazing upgrades too. So you've got to get over this fanboyism of you know, just saying whatever Sony does is good, because it's not. And look, there's no way I'm changing. I mean, I'm staying with Sony, but they could do better. They could certainly look after their customers more with more firmware upgrades and things like that to keep us happy while we're waiting. We would still buy the new cameras. And like I said, if they added that focus breathing on the A1 and also on the A7S III, like I said, it would force you, well, it wouldn't force you, but then you would want to go and get Sony lenses, because it only works with Sony lenses, I believe. So, you know, that's an issue as well that they should be thinking about. So I think it's actually quite short-sighted in a way. They probably make far more money on the lenses than they do with the bodies. So, you know. Is the new 70-200 a lot better? Yes. Yeah, it is. It's much, much better than the version 1. It's got the new linear motors. It's sharper. It's lighter. It's better all around. So, yeah, it is. Any Melbourne CBD shoots coming up? Love to stop by and say hi. I'll have to do it soon, James, actually. I'll have to organise a shoot through Melbourne again. Yeah, I will do that coming up as soon as I can. So, yeah, it will happen. I love my A7 IV. Massive difference from the A7 III, I think you were saying. Yep, I love it so much. I don't blame you. Yeah, I really do not blame you. Like I said, if I was probably buying another camera today, I probably would just get another A7S III. But the A7 IV is a very, very good camera. It really is a great camera. Greg said, adding the features would also boost sales now that the cameras aren't as new. Yeah, it would, Greg. I agree, totally. I mean, you can get A1s. They're in stock now. So the more features that they would add into that, then obviously the more people that might go out and buy it. So, That's a very good point, Greg. I don't mind if they would put a paywall being firmware upgrades. Why buy a new camera when you can have the camera that you have? I can't understand the logic. And I've said that before. I've actually said, and people people hated me for saying it, but I've said if they gave you the option, I would take it. Yeah. I mean, I actually said it would be great if Sony offered A1 users the ability to change their screen. And I'm sure people like Greg would do it in a heartbeat. If he could change the rear screen of that to the higher resolution monitor, I'm sure he'd do it. And I'm sure a lot of people that have the A1 would do it. And I think these would be wonderful things that Sony could do. I think they just need to start thinking outside the box a little bit. I mean, like I said, they have had the game to themselves. Like they've had that where we were in the Sony realm so far ahead of everyone else. But now everyone's catching up, and this is the issue as well, that everyone's catching up. Like, you've got the Z9 and Canon are doing amazing things. There'll be new releases there as well. So everyone is catching up now. Autofocus really is a non-issue anymore. I think all of the cameras now, autofocus are just brilliant. So it's little things, and I think there's some good aspects. The Sony Pro support is brilliant, and I love it. So there's some good aspects about it as well. I really do love the Sony Pro support. I mean, I had my A6400 fixed recently, and the service is brilliant. But in other things, they could certainly improve. That's for sure. I already read that one. Yep. We should organise a Sony Alpha shoot together, David. Yeah, we should, Greg. Yeah, I know. I'd like to come and do another shoot in Melbourne soon. Any plans to come back to the States? Yes, I would like to, John. The next one I'm going to do, though, is... oh, by the way, Greg, I know you bought the microphone. I've still got it sitting in the thing in there. I'll have to send it. It'll be sent early next week. I just haven't had time to send it out. John, any plans coming back to the States? Not at this stage. I will, though. But I'm going to the UK next, and I'll probably do a little bit of Europe as well. It could be late this year or early next year. So that's the next places we'll be going to. But I'll put more about that when we get when we decide when we're actually going to be going. But yeah, we will come back to the States, so that's for sure. Do you think the A1 is worth the money? Yeah, definitely. It's brilliant. It's probably the best of its type out there. I mean, I think if I was tossing between the two, if I was looking from an outsider, I may go for the Z9. But as a Sony shooter, I think they're so close, those two cameras, that there's nothing like the A1. I mean, it's a smaller body. It's brilliant in every single thing that it does. So, yeah, I think the A1 is worth its money, definitely. Yeah, if I had endless money, I'd buy an A1 for sure. It's brilliant. It's a fantastic camera. The A7S is underrated for photography. I love that camera for both video and photography. I agree, Paul. I've put a whole video up with demonstrating that. There's something special about the A7S III images that come out of that camera. It's gorgeous. There's something about it that I just adore. I love it. Absolutely love it for photography. Pro support is too hard to sign up for. Well, I suppose they have to make it so that it's not for the general public, though, Greg. I mean, that's the issue, because otherwise you wouldn't get the turnaround. The thing with it is it's meant to be... I've still got my Nikon Pro support, believe it or not, even though I don't have any Nikon gear, but I've still kept it. That's the same sort of thing as well. You've got to have so much gear before you can get it and things like that. I think it's probably just so that they can really look after the people that are pros and use the cameras for money. Side note, your thoughts on the RS3 and the RS3 Pro. Is it really upgrading from the RS2? I don't think so, no. I purchased the RS2, sorry, and I've got the full kit with the Raven Eye and everything. I don't think... there's no way I would upgrade to the RS3. I'd be keeping the RS2. It's just not a big enough update. There's little things, but I don't think it's worth the money over if you've already got the RS2. If you had something down lower than that, or if you hadn't come into the marketplace with one, like you hadn't got one at all, I think the RS3 Pro is great. I just don't think it's a good enough update for me to upgrade from the RS2 because it's perfect. The earphones that I've got are Australian ones. They've now gone out of business, Shasant. I can't remember the brand. I'll have to see if I can find them. But you can't buy them now anyway, or you can. There's only a few left. They're an Australian brand. They were really, really expensive, actually. I was lucky because a few months ago, these were around about, I think they were $1,100 or something, Australian. But I got them for $300 because they've been discontinued because the company went broke. So that's why I got these. So they're really high-ended ones. They're really great, actually. They sound superb, but it is an Australian company. I just can't remember the name of them. I'll have to see if I can find it. I'll put it in the comments below if I can. Tim said, David, have you ever done large format film photography? Yes, I have. I used to do medium format. Yeah, I did. I started with medium format. I actually used to teach that at university, the medium format photography as well. Besides Panasonic, they just can't jump on the autofocus game. I know, it's a shame. Panasonic really, if they had that, they would be an unbelievable camera. But see, a lot of the people that use those are quite happy with manual focusing. And it's not an issue for them. So Mark said, I have the A7S III and the A7 IV. Should I sail for an A1 or stay with what I have? Oh. Well, I'd always prefer to have a backup camera, Mark. If I had, I would keep both of them. That's me, though. Look, the A7 IV is brilliant. And the A7S III, you've got the best of both worlds there. I would keep both of those, and I wouldn't be buying an A1 unless you had the need for the silent shutter that the A1 has. You know, there might be some things that you want for that, but no, I wouldn't sell those for an A1 unless you really were in the need for it. Greg, we have a Sony Alpha morning coffee tomorrow at Mount Hobson in Port Melbourne for anyone interested. Yeah, I can't go, Greg. It's Kerry's 60th birthday I'm going to tomorrow. So we're going on that tomorrow. So I'm so excited for Kerry. We've got a big thing planned for her. So I'm looking forward to it. Mark said the Z9 is Sony. Yeah, well, certainly the sensor is. T said, took my A6600 to the beach last week for the first time and I couldn't see any numbers on the screen or the viewfinder. Almost made it. Yeah, I know. That's the problem, isn't it? The screen just isn't bright enough. And that's one of the problems. Like I said, that's also the problem with the A1, you know, and the A7S III. That's why I love the EVF so much in the A7S III. That's why the EVF in the A1 is so good as well, because you've got that amazing EVF you can use in sunny conditions, and it's nearly always sunny here. Alien Drone said, all Nikons use Sony sensors. Nikon cameras are not Sony. Yeah, they're not. I mean, look, the thing is, it might use a Sony sensor, but the software that's driving it is all done by Nikon. So you're right. It doesn't make it a Sony camera. Barry said there is an adapter for Sony lenses on the Nikon Z9. I discussed that last week, Barry. Apparently it works very, very well. Really well, in fact. They said it's about 95% as good as, say, using the native lenses on Sony. So that is really good. Greg said, Rode now have some fantastic headphones out recently. Yes, they have. It's a pity that they went broke, this company, because they made some really, really high-end ones, Greg. I suppose, you know, the virus got rid of them. They just couldn't compete anymore. But they were quite successful up to that point. But these are stunning, these earphones that they produced. And they produced higher-ended ones even than these. He said, happy birthday. Happy wife, happy life. Yep. No, they're not newer headphones, James. I can't remember what they were. I'll see if I can find it, and I'll stick it in the comments down below if I can find out what the headphones were. Actually, I think I've got the case. Let me have a look. Hang on. Well, these, if you wanted to Google them, they're called the AF1120, and it just says designed in Australia. I'll just show you the. Let me just bring them up, and I'll just show you. Let me just grab another page. Let me just. Can I go over to this? Yes, I can. Oh, actually, I'll just do it here. Bear with me just for a second. AF1102O. Oh, 1120 it is actually. 1120 headphones. Like I said, it's a shame they went broke because I really always admired them. They're audio fly. Like I said, if I bring them over here, I'll show you exactly which ones they are. Let me just go back to the super chat and I'll show you. I'll just drag them over and you can have a look. So it's these ones. Now, they're still in stock in some places, like Store DJ still has them in stock, and I think that's where I bought them from, actually. I'm pretty sure that I got them in there, and it's probably the amount that, I paid, which was $3.99, I think. Let me just open it up, but they were really expensive. Is it going to open? Why won't that open? Okay, so it's these ones. So they're the AudioFly AF1120 Mark II in-ear monitors, and like I said, they were. It's not saying the original price, but they were originally over $1,000 Australian, and the only reason why that they're now that price is because the company has gone broke. So if anyone does want them, they are certainly worth buying, even if you have to get them shipped out from Australia if you can't get them anywhere else, because these are really high-end earphones. They really are high-end ones, and they're brilliant. If you look at the reviews, if you go to any of the reviews of them, they are excellent. And for the price, for $3.99, you can't go wrong. And they really are great. And you get extra little things inside there. Like you get this great little case. It's great. And you get all little attachments for planes, and you also get different earbuds that you can stick in. And you can even put a wireless. They'll even do Bluetooth wireless. Now, you have to buy them separately, and I've got that here as well. But you can have them wireless as well. So I've bought a couple of the wireless units too, in case if anything ever goes wrong, because once these obviously... once they broke, that was it. I mean, you can't replace them. So that's going to be the issue with it, that you just can't get anything now because the company has gone broke. But I thoroughly recommend them. I'm certainly not sponsored by them because they're no longer in business. But, and I mean, I suppose if you get them from a reputable supplier, if they did fail, you could send them back and at least you get a refund if within the first 12 months. But you'd have to be unlucky for something to, go wrong with them. But they're brilliant. So I do thoroughly recommend them for that price. Let me just go back to... like I said, you're probably saving $700. John said, I've got an A9 looking to get a second camera. Should I go the ZV-E10, A7 IV, or the A7S III? It's hard to say, John. I mean, look, the ZV-E10 is great. But I mean, the A7 IV and the A7S III are better. It really depends on what, you want the camera to do. If you want 4K 120 and you want the EVF and you're happy with 12 megapixels, I would be comfortable going with the A7S III. The A7 IV is probably the best fusion camera that's available now, particularly at that price range. So that's also a great camera. If I was choosing one, I would get the A7S III, but that's me. I know I've also got the ZV-E10 too that I love, but that is an APS-C camera. John, you should go with an A7 III or an A7C, or maybe if you've got the funds, an A7 IV. Look what I have started. We're talking earphones now. Yes, Sony can do better. Yeah, I agree. I'm shocked that the A1 is 2,000 AU cheaper than the Z9 here in Oz. I know, how good is that? The Z9 is really expensive. The Z9 is hard to justify over the A1 in Australia. Yep, exactly, Tim. I completely agree with you. Yep, AudioFly, they're amazing. Really are amazing, Greg. If you can get them, I do recommend getting them before they disappear, because once they're gone forever. And you're never, ever going to get headphones this good at that price. My backup camera is the A7C, and I love it for family trips. So tiny. People always forget it actually has better AF than the A7 III. It has video IAF, better colours than the A7 III, and flip-out screen. Don't forget too, but also about firmware updates as well. We still haven't got the Bird IAF in the A7S III. Again, firmware that is nuts, Sony. I forgot to mention that earlier. That is absolutely stupid. I can't believe that they haven't done that. G'day, Aaron. How are you going, buddy? Hope you're well too. Aaron loves his A7C. Paul said, I'm waiting for the A7C version 2. Yeah, I think that'll be coming out reasonably soon, I would think. Aaron also said, an A7C Mark II would be interesting. Alien Drone says, one thing no camera reviewer has mentioned is the A7S III battery life is half that of the A7 III. I upgraded to an A7S III in my real estate photography business, but how frequently I have to change batteries. Yeah, you remember too, you are driving that EVF. This is the thing. I mean, if you're going to be starting to drive things like that EVF, and things like that, it is going to use up more battery, yes. But I've got enough batteries, I never have to worry about it. So, but yeah, it's definitely uses more than the A7 III, that's for sure. But it's still pretty good. I mean, I wouldn't say that I am worried about it. Let me put it that way. It's just something that I'll just throw another battery in case if I need it. All right, guys. Well, that's about it for today, because I'm going to go and get a coffee. I was surprised that we lasted this long, actually, today. I'm just going to queue up the ending video. Oops, where are we? Switcher. And I can call up the David's end of the show. And we can go from there. I'll just see what Stuart had to say before we finish. Stuart said, howdy, all the A1 new firmware has put onto the A1... the new A1 firmware has put the A1 onto steroids. It's so much quicker and sharper images coming out of it. Thanks, Stuart. Thanks for sharing that, mate. I mean, are you happy, too, about the fact that it hasn't got the focus breathing and things like that in it? I'm just curious to know, too. You can leave a thing underneath. That's what I was so disappointed about. I thought it was very, very disappointing that they didn't add that in. Aaron just said, enjoy your coffee. All right, guys, so I'm going to just switch this over and we'll end the show. And I'll see you in the next video. So let me go to, which one is it? It's HD3. Catch you guys. Thanks all for joining in. Sony firmware. What do you think? I'm not happy. This is what I think about the Sony firmware. Once more, Sony. See how many people are still here. This is the Sony board after they watch this video.